Never ever have enough time to play at all. You know everybody wants to walk in someone else's shoes. Everyone's forgot who they are.
Welcome back to Otter Creek in Rio Grande. Today is August 20th, 2022, for those of you watching in the past or will be watching in the future. So today marks the next to last weekend I have to complete my bench work to this wall over here to our right. That's been my goal for the last month or so, is to have the bench work completed to this section. And that way I can kind of concentrate on building the model railroad to this point. So what I have left to do, I need to solidify all of the risers, because I've got a few more risers that I need to put in various different locations. I need to make sure that I've got the grade that I want coming through here, because I think I want from here to this end where it's gonna meet the plywood up here. I think I want that to be either a 2.5 or a 3% grade. And I've got a few more risers over on that end to do. I haven't completed all of the structural elements of what's going across the bench work. I need to do that. So my plan here is to have 2 staging yards. One at a higher level that will basically just be, I'm hoping I can get 1 yard track with a runaround and then a Y. And then this lower one here will be hopefully 4 stub end staging tracks with a runaround. And then I'm also thinking about having a manual turntable, like maybe right here in this corner. I'm working on the track plan for that right now. I know the footprint of the plywood, and that's probably gonna be one of the first things I do this weekend, because I think it's gonna be the most time consuming, and I wanna maximize my time on what's the most time consuming, and figuring out at what level it needs to be. So first thing I'm gonna do is make sure that this grade is where I want it on both of these tracks, so I know exactly where the temporary staging yard will be. So I've cut out a 10-inch circle here to represent my manual turntable, and I've got roughed in based on where I know that my bench work is on top of the workbench, where these 2 tracks should meet the spline. And right now, I'm trying to make this the known, because I believe the spline, I can manipulate it to match whatever I come up with here. So I've got 2 18-inch sweepsticks here, followed by a 20, and then these are 22s. Now here, this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. So I've got a left-hand turnout, followed by 2 number 4 right-hand turnouts, and then this would be the turnout going to the turntable, which will be the runaround. So you can come in from here with the train, drop it off here, go on down, run around, come back in here, attack the train from the rear, pull it back. Of course, I'm gonna have to use the main line as the drill track and then push it into whichever one of these yard tracks it needs to go into. Now on this end, I still have 21 more inches of plywood going that way. So right now I feel pretty good that this is gonna work. The one kind of unknown I have right now is my Y, which I think that turnout there is in a pretty good location, because if you go 21 more inches that way, I've got, you know, another 5 or 6 feet going that way towards the door that I can go into, and then you will be running around down at that end, coming back here and using the Y as a turnaround, because this is, you know, 5 or 6 inches higher than this yard. So I feel pretty good about it. I think before I commit to cutting any plywood though, I want to go back in to the track planning software and kind of put this turnout where it needs to be in there and make sure that I don't end up with a radius there that would be like a fatal flaw in my plan before I cut plywood. Well, looky what we have here. Somebody has been outside playing and chasing bunny rabbits. Just make yourself at home. Not used to the heat, are you? Are you gonna do anything today besides chase rabbits? Did you catch that big old mouse rabbit thing? Decent progress for one day. Of course, I don't have anything permanent yet, besides, you know, what you just saw me do on this end with the L-Girder I had to do a little extension there. Nothing's level at the moment. And I don't have my 1x4s underneath. So you can see, by the time we get the 1x4s, this should be just a little bit above my blue sky. So I think that's kind of working out the way I had predicted it would. That's all I'm gonna do tonight. Time to eat, sit down, and maybe work a little on the track plan to see what I can do in here. And I don't know, I'm pretty excited about all this. It's really taken shape the way I dreamed it would. I just hope that when I actually go to lay in the track, it will run. Now, I believe I mentioned early on that down here will be my computer. The computer screen and the keyboard. I'm gonna come up with something that allows me to undersling it just a little bit. I think that's gonna work nice. So I just have to pivot my chair and can be looking at the computer that will have JMRI on it. And I don't think I've mentioned, but this area here will be my spray booth. And I think that's gonna work good too. There'll be a nice spot there. I'm gonna have to figure out, how it's gonna interface with the fascia, make some kind of lid or something that, it's hidden unless I'm making use of it. Where the door is, I wanna have some kind of, what do they call them, draw chutes or something like that. Cut through the door for my vacuum hose, and then it will just run across the floor here and up to the back side of the spray booth. And then, hopefully I can make use of some of this area for paints and things and stuff like that. Will be out of sight, out of mind, unless I'm making use of the spray booth. there you go. I would say I'm 99% complete with bench work everywhere in the room to this point. So what I've got left to do is just kind of general cleanup. I've got a few more risers that I need to fix over here. And I've probably got a half a dozen back on this side of the layout that needs to be adjusted just a little bit and or created. Now, this end over here, you know, to be clear, I'm kind of doing things bass-ackwards, so to speak, in that on the actual plan, the lower level is where the Y is. And then the upper level is just a loop around to continue on further what would be east. Now on this, the way I've got it set up now is the Y needs to be at the higher level, and the lower level, which is going to be my temporary staging for Cloud City, has to be at the lower level because I've got more room there. So I don't really want to do anything out here, because if my Y is going to be at the higher level for this higher track coming back, that would mean I would put this road bed out here at a higher level where it won't be on the finished product, which would be down here. So I've got some engineering things there that I kind of need to think about and consider. And you know, the other thing, I'm nowhere near ready to start doing any kind of track work in there anyway. So that's going to be, you know, put off until a much later date. Funny story. My wife came in the other day and looked at my airbrush and said, "Is that a bong?" Of course, I was like, "Sure, baby, that's exactly what it is. It's a bong." I don't think she was serious though. Now this showed up today. This is a corner cabinet that my dad made in high school. Should have been back in the early 1960s. He made it for my grandmother, and it was in her house until I believe she died in 1978 or 79. And then his sister, my aunt, I think ended up with it. And then my first cousin ended up with it after my aunt passed away. And my first cousin just dropped it off at the house to me today. So I have re-inherited something that my father made with his own hands, and I'm very pleased to have it. What little bit of woodworking skills I have, I could definitely say I inherited from my father. If nothing else, I probably got my patience from the man. Well, it's quite the bowl of spaghetti, but I'm very proud of what I've accomplished to this point, and I'm pretty excited about moving forward. So all I have left to do today is what I mentioned before, is go back in. I've got some risers I need to adjust in here. I need to create a couple of 3 in here, and then where it's going across the top of my workbench on the other side there, I've got probably 3 or 4 in there that I need to cut and make sure they're exactly where I want for now. So I'm going to call it quits for this video. It's Saturday. Normally, I film video through at least half a day Sunday. I'm not going to do that this weekend, because if I get everything accomplished, you know, with the risers, you know, there's no need in me filming that. My plan is to maybe take the rest of the day and either classify some cars over there in the staging yard, or I may even operate the time saver, because I haven't run a train anywhere for quite a while, other than around, you know, my little practice loop that I did a few videos back. So my plan tomorrow is to start a new video, the next video, which will be the last bench work video. And really, I won't even be doing bench work in it. My plan, which would be tomorrow, Sunday, then Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next weekend, which is the last weekend in August, is to concentrate solely on gluing spline together. It would be nice, I'm not gonna say I can or I will, but I would love to get all of the spline glued up to Silver Gulch. If I could do that over the next 4 days of work, I think that would be awesome. And I would be well ahead of schedule. Starting in September, I'm probably gonna do maybe a different format for the channel. Some things are definitely gonna change up. I haven't completely decided what those changes will be, but stick around. Lots to do at the Otter Creek in Rio Grande. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you around.